Hello everyone, welcome to the Next Gen AI with Sai YouTube channel. So today we are going to see the third part of our Langgraph series, that is Langgraph 103. If you miss previous part, I would suggest please do where I have covered the basic understanding about the Langgraph. We build the basic chatbot. In my second part, I have covered the how you can enhance the chatbot by adding the tools. And in the third, uh, in this part, we are going to see how you can add the memory to the chatbot. Okay, so this is the third part of our Langgraph series. So let's do a little bit revision what we have seen in the previous session. If you're watching this first time, so that you can you understood, you are familiar with the at least few things before, and you will not feel yourself uh, you know disconnected while I'm explaining this. So in today's in last uh, video we have covered that we install basic libraries of Langgraph, as you can see on my screen. Then we use Grok model, then Tavily API search key. So here we are adding a search API key along with my basic chatbot. So I'm doing the discussion or chat between the human and the LLM model. But there are few cases that your bot model, your LLM model is not aware about the current situation, right? So we require some kind of tool which we can connect to the internet, fetch the information, and give the output. And because of that, um, we had used a Tavily API key, which will help us to give the answer based on the current events. Like for example, last time we have seen that let's say current recently India cricket team had won the champion trophy, right? And definitely my LLM model is not aware about it because it's a recent activity, and that each and every LLM model has been developed some months back on some previous data. So definitely we cannot expect that answers from the LLM model, and that's the reason we integrated the search API tool. So if I go here, so whenever we ask question to the chatbot, it will check whether that particular message from the human require a tool call or not. If it is there, then it asks the tool, get the recent information, and provide the context to the LLM and give answer, and this end. So this is the basic workflow we have seen. Previously also we have seen that how you can add the conditional nodes, because these dotted lines are the conditional nodes. So if tool is required, it are connect to the tools, get the information and give the answer. So we have seen that how you can add this kind of conditional. We also seen the customize thing, that is route tools. So how you can add the routings. Okay, so as you can see, uh, these tools we have added using this functionality called basic tool nodes. So we have written from scratch. So but the in today's video we are using the automated, we are using the already one of the, what I can say, the classes given by the Langgraph. So we no need to write everything, we can just call that uh, class, and we can just pass the tool, and this will does. So but in my previous lecture, previous series, we have gone through this line by line, and also this routing. But Langgraph also provided that uh, readily available class, so we no need to write these routing tools as well. So we only use that part. Okay, so yeah, I hope now you understood what we have covered last time. But if you feel so that you're missing something, I would suggest please go and watch that. Now let's start the today's video, which is about the how you can add memory to the chatbot. Now when I say memory can be a short-term memory and long-term memory, but this is a very broad topic that I wanted to cover in maybe in later part, theoretical part. Okay, and along with few practicals. Okay, but the today we are going to just talk about the introductory part of memory. Let's say you are doing conversation between the human and uh, the LLM, right? And now after sometime you want some answer which is related to your previous discussion, right? So in this case, LLM may not able to give the answer, may able to not give the answer if they are not aware about the previous discussion. So to overcome this, we are adding memory, and that memory is something called as a check pointer and the thread ID. So we want my discussion, the current discussion, what is going on, it is associated with some kind of a memory and plus ID. So this ID is, you can consider as a uh, kind of a reference point, okay, which will save our current discussions, okay. And if you again invoke that ID and ask the question, it will take the previous discussion as your reference point, okay. So as you can see in the chat GPT, you are opening the session, right? Multiple session. It is not that only one session. After, definitely after some time, you cannot ask the multiple question because of the context length of LLM model. So you are always opening the new section or new window and asking questions to the LLM, right? And then you expect your LLM must aware about the previous discussion. You're not always giving the references of previous asked questions to the LLM. So here the chat GPT uses something concept called as the check pointer or thread ID. So it will always give the answer based on the previous discussion. So we will implement today that part. So let me open the Google Colab. So once we implement this, you will understand what I'm trying to convey. Okay, and definitely we will cover the different uh, session, or I can say I'll create the another recording which will cover the in detail discussion about the long-term memory and the short-term memory. Okay, so let me go to the Google Colab as usual. Most of the code we have already implemented previously. So we will use some part from there as it is and add the memory section into this uh, in today's uh, this hands-on. Okay, so the Google Colab. Let me go to the Google Colab. Okay, so so guys, I'm using Google Colab. The reason is very straightforward. I do not want to be a kind of have any kind of dependencies. That's the reason I'm using the Google Colab. Okay, and everyone is able to uh, do the practicals. But you can same thing you can achieve locally if you have your VS Code and the virtual environment ready. Likewise. So let me say this is our Langgraph 103 and memory section. Okay, something that memory we are going to learn today. So let me connect to the kernel first, and as I mentioned, we are going to use previous library. So we need to install the package. Let me go to the this thing. Let me install it again. Okay, so it will take bit amount of time. Yeah, so we have installed it again. We require few API key, uh, Grok API key and the Tably Search API key. So let me use this code as it is, where let me explain you what. Okay, so it's quick, very nice. So this block of code which will we are setting the environment key and storing into the OS environment, right? So let me enter this, copy from my API key, say Grok API key. Okay, save. Similarly, we are going to set the Tably Search API key. Okay, don't worry, I'll share this notebook with you so that you can also try on your own. And also I'm referring this Langgraph documentation, so you can easily find this code there as well. Okay, so we have set the Tably and the Grok API key. Okay, and now the most important part before we are going to the our previous code, we have to create the memory. So the memory currently we are creating is called as a persistent memory. So what I'm trying to say that we are not See, in general, or I can say in production, definitely we cannot use the system memory, right? So currently the Google Colab is running on top of some Linux system. So we are creating memory from their own Linux memory, right? But in general, we want some kind of enterprise memory. So for that, people mostly use something called as the SQLite saver or Postgres saver, where they are storing all these conversation and check pointers in the this kind of structure DBs. But today, for practical references, we are using our the OS, or I can say the memory which is attached to our operating system. Okay, so for this we are going to the from Langgraph, and there is a something called as a class called as a checkpoint and the memory. Okay, and here from that we are importing the memory saver. Okay, and this way we just need to say memory call as the memory saver. Yes, so this two line is very important. So what happened with this, you are creating the local memory. Now there is a some block of code that we have already implemented, so let me just use that as it is. Okay, for example, this way. So this block of code we use to initiate our state, right? So when I say state is nothing but the state is a something in Langgraph, as I already mentioned in previous, that we want my all the nodes, and all the nodes must be aware about that. So this is something, the starting point of the Langgraph. Okay, so I want my all messages in this class state is appended. Okay, so this is the message is a list, and we are appending all my messages to this state, and this state is something must be I want all the node must be aware of that. So this is the way that we have created. And please, again, I'm suggesting watch the previous where I have covered these terminologies in detail. Okay, now once we have this state, then it is very much important we need to cover the initiate our the model grok model, right? So for this again we are using the chat grok queen. Okay, so before that we need to initiate the tools. That's why it's coming the underline yellow line. So we need to initiate the tools, and for that tools we are using the Tavily search API. And for that I'm saying these two lines here. Okay, so Tavily search result, did we call that? No, we haven't called that, so let me import that. Okay, so Tavily search result here I imported from the LangChain only itself. I'm seeing max result tool, and I'm creating the list of these tools, and this tool is passing with this LLM, and we are calling LLM bind tools methods to make my LLM aware that these tools I'm going to use. And this is a method of chatbot where I am calling this LLM with tools, and I'm passing these messages to my LLM model, so LLM model give response on that. And then once this done that, I want this my chatbot act as a node. Okay, so I'm giving the name of my node as a chatbot, and what functions I'm you calling the chatbot. So I want this chatbot function act as a node with the name of chatbot. Understood? Great. Now as once this done that, it is very important that we need a methodology. Okay, let me just finish this, let me run this, so we'll go to this. Now what I want, as this I have added this node. Now I want my tool should be act as a node. Okay, so if you look at this here, so we implemented that tool, and we want that tool call, right? We want that this tool act as a node, but it must check the recent messages from the human and decide whether the tool call is required or not, and how we want the output in some specific format called as a tool message. So call we use this, we created this class called as a basic node, we have initiated tool, we call these tools, we input all the last messages to tools, and then we call this tool and execute all the recent messages, and then it try to search and it's going into the specific format. Now the good part in Langgraph, we no need to write everything this. If you have any customization, definitely you can do this way. But if there is no customization, then you can directly use a method called as a tool node. Okay, so let me import that. Okay, so for that I'm going to use something called as a from Langgraph pre-built import tool node and the tool conditions. So what is tool condition? Tool condition is something as a routing node. Okay, it's a route. Okay, whether it goes to the tool or not. So that's the reason I use the tool condition. Previously we implemented from scratch, but Langgraph has provided, so it's not required here. Great. Now let's move ahead. So now we want this tool, okay, added as a node, right? Added as a what? Node. So for that I'm saying my tool underscore node is equal to, now I'm using function called as a tool node tools. Okay, and once done that I'm adding my tool node as a node and I'm giving the name as a tool. Great. Now tool node is not defined. Oh great, so let me cut from here and let's say here. Okay, now it's added. Now we have added the node. After that we want the conditional edges from my chatbot to these tools. So for this what I'm going to add conditional node. Okay, add, sorry, not node, conditional edges. So conditional edge between what? Conditional edge between my chatbot, that node which I have already created, and the tool condition. Okay, tool condition. So I want this to be created with the condition and the tool conditions. Okay, now I can just completed this. Okay, tool conditions, and okay, and once done that I want to add the uh, edge between the, now there is a one edge, right? One edge between the my chatbot and the tools. Okay, now I want this again there is a edge from my tools to the chatbot, right? So graph builder dot add edge. Okay, add edge, and edge between what? Edge between my tools to again chatbot. So it's not a conditional, it's a normal edge. Okay, so what is the difference between conditional and the normal? Normal, that has to be executed. Conditional, on specific condition we want that part to be, that nodes to be executed. Okay, so now I'm again going from tools to chatbot. I want my all the output from tools executed by the chatbot. So please note that don't do the spelling mistake here, otherwise it will give the error. So let me copy paste here the chatbot. Now once this done, that I want my there is one thing that is start point, right? So I want one initial start is the starting point of my Langgraph to the chatbot. This is the way I am doing that. Let's done that. Once done this, I want to do the compilation, right? And for the compilation, what methodology I'm calling? Let's say graph is equal to graph builder. Okay, graph builder dot compile. Okay, graph compile, and say check pointer is equal to memory. Now this line is very much important. Please remember, the reason is that because we want memory, right, in this our chatbot section. So we are you make sure that you are adding that. So we saying that memory saver. Okay, here if you remember, where is that? Sorry, one second. Yeah, so we initiate the memory server, so we need to add that memory during the compilation. Okay, now we have this added. Let me compile this graph. Okay, now we are getting some error found. It's starting at unknown node tools. Okay, oh sorry, it should not be a it should be tool, not tools. As I mentioned earlier. uh, okay, branch name with the tool condition is already exist for node chatbot. Okay, okay, so that's already created. Okay, so as you can see, once you executed this conditional edges, you cannot rerun that because it's already executed. So I need, let me just say cut this because it's already been executed, and let me say this thing, and you'll see what will get. Okay, great. So as you can see, it's already executed, that's why it's giving the error of value error, but it's already there. I'll show you. Okay, now let me do the compilation here. Found the age starting at unknown node tools. Okay guys, so we were facing that issue that we are getting some conditional issues, right? And also I have seen that in the tool node, so it is not require, we were getting some tools issue, right? So it is not require, you need to modify, you can keep as it is. But while troubleshooting, I found this. uh, I created, I pass tool as a tools. So what is one thing you should remember in Langgraph? Once you created any node or edges, and once you compile that graph, you cannot modify the same thing again. What I'm trying to say, let's say I have added this, uh, I'm saying that my tool node as a tools, right? And I compile it. Now if I change here tools as a, uh, if I do the changes, sorry, if I rerun it again, okay, then it is giving say that it's already done. For example, here we have conditional edges, right? We already added, we compile it, but when we run this again, then it is saying that the branch name it's already exist, right? So to overcome this, there is a one way that you can overcome, but before that, you need to create something new. Okay, you need to create something new. So earlier we will have our node as a tool. So what I did, I modify name as a tools, and then I executed it, is it ran successfully. Then I did the same steps again. Wherever tool, I replace with the tools name, and again I ran it, it went successfully, and then I compile it. Then that time I haven't got error. But when I execute this block of code to see my view, I found that, this tool is already created, right? Though I have compiled with the new thing, but the previously node is already there, so which is not the requirement, right? Now the problem, you want to remove this. Now when I search on this Google, there is not straightforward documentations is available by the Langgraph. Okay, so through some GitHub issues, I found the solution, but still not the solution that I'm looking for. So some little bit troubleshooting, I came to this solution that this is something method called as edge remove. So if you want to remove particular node, you first have to remove their edges. So the something called as the graph builder edges dot remove. Okay, when you call this thing, so you have to mention from and to. So I want to remove the edge from tool to chatbot. I executed. Then once I executed, I need to remove this tool, right? Because it's just a node there without any edges. So there is a one method called as a pop. So graph builder dot nodes dot pop, and the name of the node. And once you execute it, that node will be deleted. And then when I ran again, then now this is the perfect something that what I am looking for. Now, yeah, I hope you understood. If you by mistake add any node, if you want to do any modification, you can use these two method of edges.remove and nodes.pop to remove that, uh, remove the particular node and the edges. Okay, hope. Now let's move to the next block thing, that is the execution. Okay, so now we wanted to run the code. Okay, so let's first of all we need to set the configuration file. So let's say config is equal to configurable. So I set this as a my key. Okay, so or better, I let me just copy so that will save some time. So I make config is equal to configurable and thread id as 1. Okay, and I want to set as a input. So let's say my input is the something user input. User input is equal to hi there, and I say my name is sign up, right? This is what my user input. Now I want to say events is equal to graph dot stream, graph dot stream, where I'm passing my user input, okay, and the config. But here I need to mention the something called as the messages, right? So I'll say messages as my key, and what is my input? I need to mention the role. Okay, so role is user. Okay, and what is the content I'm passing here? I'm passing the content of, so this role, so we are passing a, so this is my message and I'm passing a list. Okay, in my list there is a dictionary. Okay, so it's a dictionary list. Okay, so role user, and then there is a content. Okay, content, in the content I'm passing my user input. Copy this. Okay, now I hope you understood how the structure look like this, right? So, and let me say comma. Okay, so let me explain it again. So we have messages, right? In the message I'm saying this is my list. Okay, in the list I am passing the role user. Okay, and then again I'm passing the content. Okay, in the content I'm giving the user input. Okay, why there is an error, let me just check here. The role comma. Okay, I got it. So one more. Fine, great. Back. Okay, so we have role is a user and the content is a user input. After that I need to pass my config file. So this is my config, right? And the stream node is a value, stream mode is a values. Okay, stream mode is a values. Okay, and now I want for event, in events, and I want to print the last my message, the last message, and I'm calling the pretty print. So see, hi there, my name is Sainath, and my message getting, hi Sainath, it's nice to meet you, how can I assist, right? So this is my out input. Now let's say I'm passing my config, because here I'm creating the thread id as 1, so definitely this information is present there, right? Now if I pass the another message something like that, so let me say again same thing, and now this time my input is a remember my name. Okay, but my configuration is the same. Okay, so let's see what output I'm getting. Yes Sainath, I remember your name, how can I assist? So this will give the assurity that yes, using this thread, that what we have a configuration, it is able to remember what was my previous question was. Now you say let's check it out. Now I'm changing my configuration little bit something different. Instead of configuration thread 1, I'm saying my value will be thread 2. Okay, and I will ask the same input, remember that remember my name or not, and we'll see whether we are getting the same output. Now this time I'm getting, of course you are the user, I've been assisting, could you remind your name? Now I hope now you're able to understand that how this memory and how this thread will help us to store the conversation, right? So this way we have done how you can use the memory and how you can give the memory to your chatbot using this thread and the check pointer and the memory server. Okay, and also one more added value we have got in today's lecture, that how you can remove the node and the edges which you think not required. Okay, great. So that's all. I hope you enjoy this session. If any question, please feel free to comment. Okay, and please share with your friends. Thank you.